What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Man shares story of how his wife found another man online, cheated on him, and how it tore him apart. We're going to do things a little bit different here on this episode. We're going to read a couple of comments first to preview the video. Here are just a few comments related to this video. This commenter says, never make anyone your everything. Another one says, I will never gravel, plead, or beg for someone to stay in my life ever again. I will gladly show them the exit door. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
She said, I got to talk to you. And she sat down with me, and we've been together for 16 years. I've always been straight up dedicated 100%. And she said to me, she goes, I met someone online, and I'm leaving this weekend to go see him. My life fell apart.
I don't know what I would do.
I'll tell you exactly. I'll tell you exactly what I did. I stood up. I freaked out. I was desperate. I was losing it. I went outside my front door here. I grabbed this bar we have that we put on a door jamb. She's always been like worried about having someone break into our house. I grabbed that thing and I went outside to my deck and I beat my railing until I bent that bar, and I hit it so hard that it bent this metal bar right in half because I was so lost and confused, you know. And I went and stood by my truck, and I'm crying because it's like this woman is my everything.
Right.
I mean, everything that the best word that I have ever had someone say is the investment that I had into her and my kids was everything. Like, I'm one of those guys that, like, I don't flirt with other women.
Yep.
I don't go out drinking and goggle at girls. She was my everything. She was a gorgeous blonde, a beautiful woman, and I loved her to death.
Yeah.
So we kind of, once everything settled down, I'll tell you straight up, I'm guilty of going through all the stages of things you're not supposed to do. The groveling, the crying, the complaining, the whining. I was desperate.
It's so hard not to. You know what I mean? When that's your life and you see it crumbling, it's hard not to.
It really, you're absolutely right. And that's what it came down to. I was so, like, I was losing everything. Like, at that point in time, like, I get, like, not that I would ever do it, but I get what people feel when they want to commit. Like, there's nothing to live for because she was my everything, right? So I convinced her not to go for a short time. We tried coming up with things that we could do to, help each other. Like, what do you need? And I'll listen to you more. And what can I do, or what can you do? And how can we communicate? Like, really trying to make it adapt. But it always seemed like I was doing more of the work.
Right.
So I think that went on for like maybe 2 weeks. And then we went out on a Wednesday night. I said, let's just go out. Let's get away from the kids. Let's go have a talk. Let's go have a drink. Let's just relax. Okay. We ended up going to the local lake, sitting on the benches. And I said, can you please just tell me what you're thinking? Because you're not talking to me. You're barely doing anything. And she just kept saying, I'm confused. I don't know what I want. I really like him, but I don't want to hurt you, and this, but, back and forth.
His wife wasn't ready to fix it. By the way, guys, I didn't put the music in there. It came like this. I know some of you are wondering, like, what's going on, Chisha? Here we have a man who gave everything to a woman. I quote, said, she was my everything. He gave her everything. His life revolved around this woman in his life. And so what happens when your life revolves around a woman? What happens when she is your everything? And I mean your everything, as in without her. If she's your everything, that means there's nothing outside of her. It means that if she decides to leave you, you feel like you have nothing else to live for. And there he actually talked about feeling exactly that. Granted, it's easier said than done, because anybody who's losing a family probably feels like they're losing most of what they value. But I think there's a difference here, a distinction. And There's certain men who place their meaning, value, and life in a woman. And a lot of people think they're supposed to do that, especially their wives. But I'm glad that he said what he said. He said, I did the stuff that you're not supposed to do. At least he knows that it's not healthy to have someone so pedestalized in your life that you're begging, crying, and pleading for them to work. It's one thing to fight for your marriage. It's another thing to question your existence and to not allow someone to leave unless if you've given every ounce of your honor and self-respect. And so he gave this woman his all while she wanted to give herself to another man on Tinder. Let's keep listening.
So we had another kind of not like a scream fight, but like an emotional crying fight. And she said she was gonna go, and she wasn't gonna go, and she was gonna go. And then finally she says to me, she goes, I'm just gonna be honest with you. He bought me another plane ticket for this Thursday morning, and I really want to go.
So they've been still talking the whole time while you guys are trying to fix your relationship.
The entire time.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I asked her to stop talking to him.
Of course.
And there was even times I said, why don't you give me your phone, give me your code, just so you can prove to me you're being honest.
Yeah.
And she would say things like, well, if you trust me, you don't need to look at my phone.
And then that's what right there is like when they say stuff like that. And because now when you get into another relationship or anything else, it's like you're going to be questioning yourself because she told you she was being truthful. You were believing everything she said, and then it comes back and kicks you in the. It's like, damn, should I had flags up or whatever? That's
what it is, and that's the thing. You're so blinded with desperation of being with that person that you don't even like want to see those red flags.
Yeah.
You don't even acknowledge those red flags. And there was other little things that went on. Like when I would ask her detailed questions about like what happened, when did you meet, things like that, she would be like, well, it doesn't matter, it's over, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, well, it kind of does matter, because like you hurt our relationship. Like that's something that hurt us.
Women don't, it seems like a lot of the times women don't like exposing where they met men, who they're trying to monkey branch to, or who they've cheated on you with. Multiple times I've done these type of videos, the woman's always trying to hide who the guy actually is. And it's usually some guy who you may know. It's usually somebody who she told you not to worry about. It's usually the guy who she said is just a friend. And in these idealistic type relationships where a man has pedestalized a woman and decided not to accept the brutal truths that reality offers in a hot cup of coffee, he decides to see life through rose-colored lenses because, like my father used to tell me, man, don't become so in love that you stop thinking and using your head. And that's what's happening. And so you start accepting things like, oh yeah, she can have male friends. Oh yes, I trust her. She would never do that, until the day it happens. Let's keep listening.
So that Thursday morning, after our emotional disagreement, whatever it was that Wednesday night, she had come to the agreement she wasn't going to go. Great, no problem. So Thursday morning, I run the kids to town in the morning. I came back, brought her a nice coffee, just like I do every morning. I brought her a nice coffee every single morning. Even if I didn't have to go to town, I went to town and got her a nice coffee. Like that was my job, and that's what I did. I come home and she's in the bathroom. She's already been showered, dressed, cleaned up, makeup on, and everything. I'm going,
where are you going?
You're never. What are you doing? And she says, I'm just gonna go. Now, mind you,
oh, wow.
My 15-month-old son is sitting in the playpen right over here, and I'm like, what happened? We talked about this, and we had another little small dispute, and I'm like, you know what? Fine. I walked over, I grabbed the baby, I grabbed his blanket, I grabbed his bottle, and I walked out. I took his car seat, I threw it in my truck, and I literally put him in the driver's seat of my truck, and I drove down to my dealership, which is only about 2 miles down the road. And I had my colleagues, the people who work for me down there, and they were super supportive. They held the baby for me while I broke down. And the whole time I'm trying to call her, like, are you seriously going? And she...
Let her go, bro. Let her go.
She got in her car. She drove to the nearest city. She got on that plane and she left.
Man.
unbelievable, the betrayal,
Yeah.
and the frustration, the alone, everything. I mean, I'll be honest with you, and I can. A lot of people may relate with this, and I think I'll say it. I felt like all I wanted to do was sell everything, literally go get a 9-to-5 job and live like a hermit or hobbit, whatever the term is, and just hide from the world and make enough money to take care of my kids, and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like trash, right? So, me being the good father, I still let the kids talk to her while she was out there screwing this other guy.
Now-
Wow. Wow. Do you think she would have awarded him the same favor if the roles were reversed in that situation? When a man cheats, do women play nice in those situations? No. Nope. They're pulling all the cards. Protective orders, restraints, don't harass me anymore. I'll see you in court when you get back. Wow.
Did the kids
Out having
know
drinks.
what she was doing?
Oh, here's the psychotic part. The kids knew about all of this before I did.
No way.
So, yeah, she was prepping them. Like when I was at work and she'd pick them up from school, she was prepping. She even like let him talk to them before she told me anything. I was like, my kid
That's so effed up.
knew about this guy before I did.
Yeah, and now you got to think is like this has been planned.
Right.
Now that you're saying that, like in my mind, it's like this has been planned. She knew she was going to leave you. It was just hard to leave you because of the 12-year relationship that you guys had, or 12 years married, 17 years, but she knew she was going to eventually leave you. So she was prepping the kids to do that to eventually meet this guy.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
And she had her mom on board and everything, like to watch the kids and pick them up. She's like, I got it all planned and they're all good to go. And I'm like, are you like, I didn't know any of this. Like this like smacked me in the face. Right. So the whole time she's out there, she's talking to the kids. The kids are obviously starting to miss her. They're kind of like, what's going on? This is weird, blah, blah, blah. And she kept lying when she was coming back. Like, oh, I'll come back, Saturday night or Sunday morning or Sunday night. And she just would never show up.
All right. So that's it. And you can find that particular video on Daddy Issues the Truth on TikTok. Listen, the fact that he had no idea what was going on is just so typical. It seems to be the pattern, which is why when a wife is cheating, stepping out of the marriage, showing signs that she's ready to leave you and break up the family, in most cases, she's thought about this over time. She's already laid out the plans, probably already spoke to the attorneys. If she's gotten counsel from her own mother and close friends, best believe they've probably advised her to follow her heart and do what's best for her and be happy as modern women do. And now she goes to seek an attorney. Mind you, this is a man who says, I've always been the guy who's been loyal. I've never stepped out. I don't even look at other women. And she missed the streets. She missed the excitement. And she was done being a wife. Unfortunate. What do you guys think of this story? Listen, if you can relate to this story or maybe have a story of your own and want to share your story of your divorce and how things played out and want to even come here on the coffee pod and talk about it, then feel free to email me at support@chishazed.com. That's support@chishazed.com. Let's check out some of these comments, see what the people have to say. First comment here says, only in America. Another comment here says, I've learned only fools trust people 100%. Even 1% doubt will save your mentality. I think he meant to say will save your mental and keep your eyes open to the changes. Wow. He says even 1% of truth will keep you open to the realities of what's really going on, so you're not caught up in those emotions, because you can't trust anybody 100%. And that doesn't mean that you're doing that because you think they are a bad person. No, you're actually showing them the ultimate grace because you're accepting that they are a human being and you want to protect yourself, because that's how people end up acting in ways and doing things that may be embarrassing or they end up regretting in the long term. Here's another comment that says, that is what's going on with me now. Same line. Here's another comment that says, I'm literally floored with this post. I went through the exact same thing with much more shocking incidents. So I can relate 1000% on every word. Another comment here says, this sounds like my marriage and infidelity of my wife 100%. I knew about the guy and I begged her not to go to him and she still chose him over me. There is some type of honor some men find in begging a woman to stay in their lives. Do not beg for any woman to stay in your life who wants to leave. If she's decided in her mind that she no longer wants to be with you, especially if she's chosen another man and is already stepping out and cheating, walk away. That is the only power you have as a man, is to walk away. Do not do it. You will be okay. Walk away. You're okay without her. She's going to regret it. You know how this thing goes. He probably doesn't take her seriously. Let her go. You know how these things go. Regret is the next thing around the corner. Another comment here says, tell her bye, cancel all the joint things you had together, and she would leave tonight. Another comment here says, divorce here. I would never ever give my heart to anyone again like that. My children are my life. Another person here says, I will never gravel, plead, or beg for someone to stay in my life ever again. I will gladly show them the exit door. And the creator responded back to that person and says, it's hard when you're in it, but I hear what you're saying. And our final comment here says, never make anyone your everything. What do you guys think? As always, leave your comments down below. I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pot. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.